When I say rural, what comes to mind? Please take just a moment and get that vision in your mind. The relevance of rural America. Over the past 5 years, I've spent a lot of time in rural America. I've visited many farms, talked to many people. And the one thing that I've found is that people who have lived in rural areas of America for long periods of time, over generations tending the land, seem to have the same thing in common. They seem to live a more deliberate life, a slower pace, strong values, a few things that come to mind from my notes that I've taken. When the first Department of Agriculture was formed by President Abraham Lincoln in 1862, from that time forward, annual reports by the USDA have been put together. Those reports document crops, industry, family life, and how our country moves forward with rural and urban integration. I've been spending that time also, besides small amounts of time in different regions of the South, reading those annual reports. Those annual reports, that's the history of our nation. And what's in those reports is critical to our future. The reports document and sustain a way of life, people who have been tending the land and how they do it, how families and communities come together and keep things going strong. That information is critical for moving forward. In 1862, it was almost 3 years into the Civil War when President Abraham Lincoln signed not only the agricultural bill to form the department, but it was also when the Emancipation Proclamation was signed, freeing slaves. And as I've read through these reports and visited the land, I find that, and still believe that, civil rights and agriculture are our country's most unresolved issues. Environmental conservation, loss of land. What are we going to do about that? We need to revisit. We need to revisit rural America. We're somewhat slaves ourselves. Many places are lost to gadgets, complete urban development, and many of the people who are moving to the rural areas without any form of knowledge of the history of rural America, each time something is lost. Something is lost. I'm just here today to plant a few seeds and hope that I can bring to mind a way of life where people seem to get along, they share, they have a more connected and deeper relationship to nature. They're slower thinkers, less gadgetry. With the movement that's going on today, the maker movement, where does your food come from? Where are your clothes coming from? That's a great thing. That's a great thing. Because the land is leaving to ever-growing population, and it's looking at and connecting with the essence of the history of our country through agriculture that will enable us to somehow draw on some of those relationships in order to solve some of the turmoil that we go through today. It's been a long road for 5 years visiting and trying to consider how to connect art and agriculture, and I'm still working on it. I'll be curious at some point to know what some of the words are that you came up with concerning rural. I find that rural America is soothing, solid, and worth saving. I hope you can join me on that mission. Thank you.